Alright, all you music makers, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans out there, welcome back to MusicVillage. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do realize we're backed up a couple of weeks for NXT, and to make up for that, we decided to come up with a big edition of the NXT review from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And I should say the following NXT review will include several weeks passed in your house included with this said review for this week. I think we're behind by 2 weeks, I could be wrong, the time's a blur. But either way folks, NXT would kick off with none other than Cameron Grimes going one-on-one against Damian Priest. And the only reason this match is coming about is because after NXT TakeOver in your house, Damian Priest, after hearing some choice words from Cameron Grimes, would end up lighting him up, knocking him out with a right hook to the jaw for Cameron Grimes to get his revenge, allegedly by slashing the tires of one Damian Priest last week. And to make matters worse, this week, it would find Damian Priest actually thrown outside of his car, smashed by his own car door, which a lot of people believe once again was because of Cameron Grimes. And Cameron Grimes would go out to the ring, celebrate the fact of what happened to Damian Priest, and would say it's another win for Cameron Grimes, and for Damian Priest to come out defiant to the doctors and the referees to try to put up a fight during this match, and would do so by not only hitting a big boot on Cameron Grimes, but a nasty sit-out choke slam for a near fall. But once the action got to the outside of the ring, Cameron Grimes would take advantage of Damian Priest's taped up ribs like he was the entirety of this match by actually countering out of a cross powerbomb for him to hit a cave-in on the outside of the ring, then to go back inside of the ring to finish off Damian Priest with yet another cave-in for Cameron Grimes to celebrate yet another crooked victory via pinfall. Now, for some strange reason, I thought of that group, Them Crooked Vultures, when I thought of Cameron Grimes with that crooked win. I don't know why, but I did. And the next thing to take place on NXT, like over the past couple of weeks, would be another edition of Thatcher That Can Wrestling from none other than Timothy Thatcher, explaining not only the half crab, but also the key lock to try to take out your opponents with quick succession, despite the size of the wrestler. Hence the reason of Thatcher That Can Wrestling, which I think I might go into. If it's anything like what Dean Malenko did back in the day, I got a feeling it's a good idea. Then the next thing to take place on NXT would be a backstage interview with the new tag team on the scene that I completely forgot the name of, which involved these two big, giant, oversized guys that Jeremy Bivens, or Michael Bivens, yeah, thank you, my show, Michael Bivens was managing, and actually was just there last week to actually survey what was going on during the NXT Tag Team Championship match that happened between none other than Breezango and Imperium, or Imperium? You know what, we'll go with the second one, and during that said match, you would see Breezango making fun of Imperium by coming out with Emporium, which was a clothing line doing a remix of the classic Walters theme song, which I thought was funny. But the team of Imperium didn't think it was funny, and during the match that would see Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan interfering, actually attacking the new tag team on the block, would then see a whole bunch of confusion happening during the match, Breezango almost winning the tag team championships, only for Imperium to get back the tag team championships during this said match by rolling up Tyler Breeze, and for them to retain their tag team championships via pinfall. And Michael Bivens would say that he's pissed off, but he's calm, letting Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan know that they're coming for them the next time they see him in the ring. I couldn't translate what the two big guys said, but I'll just interpret it that they said that. Then the next thing to take place on NXT would be none other than Jake Atlas going against the Kabuki himself, Santos Escobar. Now, for those who don't know who Santos Escobar is, it's the guy who was El Hijo del Fantasma, who was revealed to be the guy who was kidnapping people for weeks on end and decided to usurp his way into the world of NXT, taking the Cruiserweight Championship and then taking out none other than Drake Maverick, who would end up getting a contract with NXT after losing the match against El Hijo del Fantasma, and would end up getting sent to the hospital last week after a phantom driver threw the table on the outside of the ring. From a height of about 6, maybe 7 feet? I could be wrong with that height estimate, I'm ballparking here. Either way, Jake Atlas looked to get some form of payback during this match and would try to do so with not only doing a crossbody for a near fall, also pulling off a very beautiful Hurricane Rana during this match that for some strange reason reminded me of Psychosis for a near fall, and even taking out the goons, as they called them, on the outside of the ring with an Ase moonsault. But unfortunately, once he got back inside the ring, El Hijo del Fantasma, or better known as Santos Escobar, would make him pay for it by putting him on his shoulders, hitting him technically with a Tiger knee right to the face, leading right directly into a phantom driver for Jake Atlas to lose this match via pinfall. And for Santos Escobar to celebrate in the ring, win the NXT Championship unchanged, unmatched, and unbeaten since being here. I think. I could be wrong with those words, but it sounded cool when I said it. And speaking of absolutely cool, folks, the next match to take place on NXT would see none other than Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez going one-on-one against Katie Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, or what I like to call them, the K&K Connection. The best tag team name we could think of on short notice, folks. But during this match, action would go back and forth and would see Kaden Carter and Katie Catanzaro trying to pull off every offensive move known possible to try to take out Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Gonzalez, including doing a series of high-impact, high-octane light tag team moves, including one that involved a kick to the face and even a jaw jack off the ropes. But all of that would not be enough during this match, despite Kaden Carter doing a nasty boot wash kick to Dakota Kai. This match would come to an end that again once none other than Big Mama Cool tagging back into this match, and for them to try to do the same leapfrog attack that they did to Dakota Kai, which led to a near fall, would see Big Mommy Cool actually picking up Katie Catanzaro and just holding her up in the air, all while big booting Kaden Carter in the face and doing one of the biggest moves of the night in the form of a disgusting powerbomb to Katie Catanzaro, knocking her out cold and getting the 3-count victory for Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, Dakota Kai would announce her bid to become NXT champion and defeat the Queen of the Sky, only for Raquel Gonzalez to back her up on those words. And this tag team really is starting to remind me of a female version of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. And I have to say this much right now, Raquel Gonzalez, probably one of my favorite power bombers in the business right now as we speak. Because anybody who can grab you with one arm and slam you into the dirt like that, I have to come up with a cool name for that power bomb too. But yeah, you have to be very monstrous to do something like that. And speaking of monstrous, folks, The next match to take place on NXT would see none other than Karrion Kross going one-on-one against Bronson Reed. And during this match, or prior to this match, we might as well paint that picture, folks. Before NXT TakeOver in your house, Killer Kross would try to deliver his message to Tommaso Ciampa by actually dive-bombing Bronson Reed on the back of his head with the Doomsday Saito, and then would even give an hourglass to none other than Adam Cole Bebe, who would actually break the hourglass, or should I say Keith Lee would break the hourglass in a rude fashion from the Herald of Doomsday. And Bronson Reed would say that next week he challenges none other than Karrion Kross to a match, and this would be a Haas fight for the ages. I'm not kidding when I say this, folks, because during this match, not only would see Bronson Reed pulling off a nasty German suplex for a near fall, but then you would see Killer Kross pulling off T-bone suplexes, exploder suplexes, and even tossing around Bronson Reed like if he was a cruiserweight. And ultimately, this match would come to an emphatic end after a Northern Lights / Doomsday Saito move combination leading directly into the Kross jacket for Bronson Reed to fall and prey before the Kross via pinfall. And after the match was over, Karrion Kross would stare down the same referee that he had count his hands down to the mat on his debut for her to just back off and run out of the ring. Rightfully so, because, Scarlett might get offended and dive bomb her on her head. No one is safe, ladies and gentlemen, when Karrion Kross is in the room. Just letting you know. And the next match to take place on NXT would see Rhea Ripley going one-on-one against Aaliyah. And during this one-sided fistfight caught on tape, Aaliyah would try to use every sneaky trick in the book, not only having Jake Stone in her corner I should say, but it was hard to tell at one point because he would actually try to get inside the ring to interfere during this match while Rhea Ripley had the prism locked in on Aaliyah. Would see Robert Stone, thank you for the correction, Maestro, actually throwing his shoe at none other than Rhea Ripley, only for him to get chased around the ring, and then would see Rhea Ripley once again bring her focus back inside of the ring for Aaliyah to suffer the wrath of the Riptide and for Rhea Ripley to win this match via pinfall. Now, one thing we forgot to mention, actually 3 things, is that on 2 separate occasions, Rhea Ripley threw Robert Stone in the trash when Robert Stone asked her to join the Robert Stone brand. And before I forget, Robert Stone would help Aaliyah beat Xia Li last week by actually throwing up in the ring. Ugh. And the only reason Robert Stone is such a broken mess is because his original client, Chelsea Green, decided to leave the side of Robert Stone, leaving him a broken shell of a man. So, as of next week, and something that we should mention, that it's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match against Rhea Ripley in the form of Robert Stone and Aaliyah fighting against none other than Rhea Ripley. And if Rhea Ripley loses, she has to join the Robert Stone brand, by accordance to what William Regal would tell him over the phone. And after those conditions was talked about after the match was over, the next match to take place on this said NXT show would see the Undisputed Era's own Roderick Strong going one-on-one against the creepy and sinister Dexter Lumis. Now, after the whole incident that would happen at NXT TakeOver in your house with Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish getting locked inside of a trunk, and Roderick Strong would have to undergo undisputed counseling with Kyle O'Reilly to overcome the trunk, and once they did that, he would then have to fight against none other than Dexter Lumis, who's been haunting him for the past couple of weeks, so much so that Roderick Strong didn't want to confront his fears but would run away from Dexter Lumis right up the ramp for the referee to count him out, and for Dexter Lumis to just sit there in the ring with that same cold, dead stare he had and win this match via pinfall. But after the match was over and none other than Bobby Fish outside of the ring complaining about this victory, Dexter Lumis would sneak up on him and hit him with the Kata Katame, and actually for Bobby Fish to escape the hold and run up the ramp right after Roderick Strong, which tells me this is not over by a long shot. And as a matter of fact, it would be announced that as of next week, it will be a strap match between Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis. That should be an exciting match. And speaking of exciting matches, the next match to take place on NXT would be the main event of the evening, which would see none other than the North American champion, the Limitless One, Keith Lee, going one-on-one against Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship in a triple threat match. And it would be announced prior to this match, folks, that the winner of this triple threat match would go on to face against none other than Adam Cole, baby! In less than 2 weeks, in a winner-take-all match for not only the North American Championship, but the NXT Championship as well. And during this match, action would go back and forth and would see both Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano both trying to take out the Limitless One during this match, for both of them to find out why in the world he is so limitless, because both of them would get tossed around like nobody's business, only for Finn Balor to attack none other than Keith Lee on the outside of the ring with a nasty sling blade, and would even see Johnny Gargano with the help of Finn Balor knocking him into the stairs. But ultimately, this match will come to an end again after a nasty John Woo-like dropkick for Johnny Gargano to get pinned by none other than Keith Lee, and for Finn Balor to take advantage of that pinfall by actually doing a coup de grace for Keith Lee to have quick action and move out of the way of that said pinfall for a near fall, then pick up none other than Finn Balor afterwards and hit him with the Big Bang Catastrophe for the Limitless One to retain his North American Championship via pinfall. And after the match was over, you would then see the NXT champion himself, Adam Cole, baby, coming out to confront Keith Lee, and for it to be announced that in 2 weeks it will be Keith Lee going one-on-one against Adam Cole for a winner-takes-all contest. But prior to all of that, folks, it would then be announced that next week on NXT that the Great American Bash will be making its return with several titles on the line, including the NXT Women's Championship in a fatal four-way match between none other than the Queen of the Sky, Io Shirai, Team Kick's own Dakota Kai, and even seeing in the mix Mia Yim, and of course, Lady Kane herself, Tegan Knox. And with that extremely patriotic pay-per-view to look forward to for next week, folks, we might as well head back into the music and grab a glass of water, because when we return, we'll be back with more Music Village afternoon shenanigans right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.